Hello boys and girls, once again Navneet tutorials for Commerce Booster, especially for class 12, accountancy, business studies, economics and entrepreneurship. The motive behind this video is just to let you know about business studies question papers set by two MBOs for 2019 and 2020, which I have solved for you regarding your examination preparation for 2021, and it will help you. Myself, Navneet Roy, I have again started talking blah and blah regarding business studies. Now, let me introduce again. I have done my MCOM. Now I am pursuing for NET and JRF. I am a freelancer, and these all are free of cost. So please recognize it, study it, so that it will help you to get good marks in your examination. And here good marks means good percentage, and good percentage means good reputation. That's all. Now let me begin with today business studies. These are the contents, page number 57. Here is our paper. Business Studies 2019 for Commerce. Full marks is 100. Time allotted by MBOs for the examination to write down in examination, that is 3 hours. The figure in the margin indicate full marks for the questions, general instructions. Answer to questions carrying 2 to 3 marks should not exceed 30 to 40 words each. Answer to question carry 4 to 5 marks should not exceed 60 to 80 words each. Answer to question carrying 6 marks should not exceed 100 words each. Attempt all parts of a question together at one place. Now I am going to start. 2019 Business Studies. Then question number 1 is for 2 marks. Marketing mix. Answer is marketing mix. The marketing mix refers the set of action or tactics that a company uses to promote its brand or product in the market. The 4 P's make up a typical marketing mix: price, product, promotion and place. And here a small diagram which I have copied from Google search engine images to make it more easy to remember. That's all. Now question number 2. What do you understand by principle of management? For 2 marks. Here principle spelling is Principle. Generally principle means some rules. And one principle Principal, which we use in the calculation of interest, and again we are going to use the same thing in our head of the institution principle, that is called. So please do not get confused and try to write down the spelling correctly. Now move to the answer. Principle is a fundamental statement of truth that provides guidance to thoughts and actions. Principle of management are the statement of fundamental truth which acts as guidelines for taking managerial actions and decisions. Question number 3. What is meant by economic environment of business? Again for 2 marks. This comes under chapter number 3 of business studies. The economic environment affects the business environment through the situation which arises due to many factors. Some of them are marketing situation, that is demand and supply situation. Point number B, source of capital, that is fundraising management. Point number C, income level of masses, that is income of a consumer. Question number 4. Mention any two features of an appropriate capital structure for 2 marks. The answer is, the two features of an appropriate capital structures are: point number A, capital structure should not be mixture of debt and equity. And point number B, capital structure of a firm denotes the value of the firm in the market. These are the features of an appropriate capital structure. Now we move to our next question, question number 5. Poorly motivated people can nullify the soundness of the organization. Comment. Now again I am going to repeat the question in my answer. Poorly motivated people can nullify the soundness of the organization. Statement was given by Allen. The importance of motivation is brought out by the following facts. Point number 1. Improves performance level. The ability to do work and willingness to do work both affect the efficiency of a person. The ability to do work is obtained with the help of education and training, and willingness to do work is obtained with the help of motivation. Here, in short, the author tried to say that if you are willing to do, you can learn over there also by doing and learning. But if you know everything, but still lying that I can't do, I won't be able to do, so for that kind of people, there is no place in the organization, especially in corporate world. If you know the work, you please do. If you don't know the work, then also you do. And if it is not possible, then you can ask to your superiors how to do it. Point number 2, helps to change negative or indifferent attitudes of employees. Some employees of an organization have a negative attitude. They always think that doing more work will not bring any credit. A manager uses various techniques to change this attitude. Point number 3. Reduction in employee turnover. The reputation of an organization is affected by the employee turnover. This creates a lot of problem for the managers. A lot of time and money go waste in repeatedly recruiting employees and giving them education and training. Now we move to our next question, question number 6 for 3 marks. Explain any 3 functions of lower level management. Explain any 3 functions of a lower level management. Nowadays, lower is quite embarrassing word. So, we people use supervisory level also. Functions of lower level management are submitting workers' grievances, ensuring proper working environment, ensuring safety of workers, helping middle level management, inviting suggestions, creating better human relations. Now, you people may think like this, that here it is written that explain. But right now I haven't explained anything. I have just write down the points. That is 6 points for 3 marks. So half point for 1 mark. 1 point for half marks. So here, submitting workers' grievances here means a feedback receiving from a subordinate through superior. Ensuring proper working environment. By doing supervising properly, we can ensure in an organization that the working environment is in a proper condition. Ensuring safety of workers, whatever the safety measures that needs to be initiated in organization, that needs to be followed as per the protocols or rules framed by the government. Helping middle level management. Lower level management helps the middle level management. How? By giving good suggestions, by knowing them that what is being going on the field work. Inviting suggestions means giving suggestions to the top of the management through hierarchical order. Creating better human relations, creating relationship, that means the sense of belongingness in the organization, that even lower level, middle level are belong to the organization, not only the top level management. Question number 7. Explain any 3 principles of directing for 3 marks. The three principles of directing are: principle of unity of command. Point number A, an employee should receive orders from one superior only. Violation of this principle creates misunderstanding. Point number B, principle of direct supervision. The supervision should himself supervise the work of those working under him. And point number C, principle of managerial comprehension. This principle is important due to the fact that what is heard and how much is understood is more important. Now we move to our next question, question number 8 for 3 marks. How does personal selling help in sales promotion? Give 3 points. Answer is, personal selling helps in sales promotion because, point number A, direct and face-to-face communication between buyer and seller. Point number B, it convenience the buyer to accept seller's point of view. Point number C, it is a promotional tool that consists of human contact and communication that is personal and oral instead of communication through the mass media. Question number 9 for 3 marks. Explain the esteem needs and self-actualization needs of an employee. Answer is esteem need. It includes employee desire for respect, independence, reputation, prestige, self-confidence and recognition, etc. These needs are satisfied by recognizing good performance of employee, providing challenging job assignment, good job titles, nice office, extra authority, etc. Under self-actualization needs, it requires development of capability of the fullest potential. These are the needs of the highest order and emerge for those whose first 4 needs have been fulfilled. Now, first 4 needs, here you will get confused. Only 2 are mentioned. According to question, we are going to explanation of only 2. But the 4 needs you will get it under chapter number 7 of directing of business studies. Subtopic motivation. According to Abraham H. Maslow, his motivational theories in a hierarchical order. There you will get it. That is physiological need, safety and security needs, esteem needs, self-actualization needs, and one more is there. I just forgot it. You please try to find out in your book. Okay. Question number 10. Anil, a businessman, deals with perishable goods. Here perishable goods means vegetable, fruits, means it gets it has very least lifetime. As a marketing manager, which channel of distribution would you suggest for him and why? Give 3 reasons. Anil, a businessman who deals in perishable goods, and the marketing manager suggesting him which channel of distribution is best for his business condition. Perishable goods. Let me first understand what is perishable goods. Such as vegetables, milk, butter, bakery products, fruits, seafoods, etc. require direct selling, that is 0 level, as they must reach the consumer as easily as possible after production because the danger associated with delays and repeated handlings. Reason for direct selling. Point number A, perishable goods are cannot stored for longer duration due to their nature. Point number B, direct selling or 0 level is the level where producers meet consumers directly without any intermediary. Point number C, products of high unit value are sold directly by traveling sales force and not through middlemen. Question number 11 for 4 marks. Why is management not regarded as full-fledged profession like legal and medical profession? The best answer which I got from my institution where I used to study, that is BBS College, from there the teacher explained me full-fledged profession. Profession is not a science and not an arts. It is a partial science and partial arts. Now, management is not considered as a full-fledged profession like medical or legal professions because it has restricted entry through an examination or degree as a precision. For every profession, there are some set of ethical codes fixed by the professional associations. Management also some set of ethical codes by the concerned professional associations like ICWA, CMA, CS, ICSI, and ICAI for accounting and all. For management, there is another. This kind of institutions are there, which has a special authority and a special set of rules for the professionalism course or professional course. Question number 12. Delegation of authority is necessary in all types of organization. Give any 4 reasons in support of your answer. Delegation of authority is necessary in all types of organization because it is a compulsory act because no individual can perform tasks on his own. Point number B. More control, be superior, hence less freedom to take own decisions. Point number C. Its purpose is to lessen the burden of the manager. Point number D. It is the process followed to share task. Question number 13. Explain vestibule, school and job rotation as a method of training. Chapter 5. Organizing. Vestibule school is a school facility organized within an industrial plant to teach specific skills to trainee workers. Job rotation is a strategy where employee rotate between jobs at the same business. Employee takes on new tasks at a different job for a period of time before rotating back to their original post. Question number 14 for 4 marks. Write a note on OTCEI. Over the Counter Exchange of India is an Indian electronic stock exchange composed of small and mid cap companies, means capital companies. In its purpose is for smaller companies to raise capital which they cannot do at the National Stock Exchange due to their inability to meet the exchange requirement. Done. Question number 15. Distinguish between primary market and secondary market for 4 marks. The difference between primary market and secondary market are basis, meaning under primary market offers security for the first time. Secondary market offers trade of already issued securities. Point number 2. Purpose, to raise capital for expansion and diversification etc. under secondary market, trading and thereby availing liquidity to investors. Point number 3. Price, primary market, the company sells the shares to the investors at a fixed price. Under secondary market, demand supply discovers the price. Point number 4. Parties involved. Under primary market, company and investors. Under secondary market, investors buy and sell among themselves. Question number 16 for 5 marks. Explain method, study and motion study as technique of scientific management. Answer. Method study. Method study technique of scientific management is conducted to find out best method or way of performing the job which keeps production cost minimum and makes maximum use of resources of the organization, that is with minimum input to produce maximum output, the commerce mantra. And motion study is conducted to determine the movement of workers where they are performing the job, to differentiate between unproductive and productive movement, to design suitable equipment and tools to minimize unproductive movement of workers. Here means not to roam here and there. Work means work. Please do the work. You are in the organization. You have come to do the work, to take your reward, that is wage or salary. But without performing any kind of job or work, we do not allow any kind of salary or wages. So please, you are concerned with the work. You have come for the work. So please do the work. Do not do any other things. The company try to say under motion study. Question number 17. For 5 marks, explain the impact of government policy changes on business and industry. The impact of government policy changes on business and industry are: point number A, technological environment, increased competition forces the firm to develop new way to survive and growth in the market. Point number B, need for developing human resources. The new market condition require people with higher competence and greater competence. Point number C, market orientation. The business enterprise start focusing on market oriented techniques rather than product oriented techniques. In marketing mantra, market orientation means you have heard regarding consumer is the king of the market. Why? Whatever the consumer demands, is the opportunity for the company to earn something by fulfilling his needs and making the same product and giving. This is only the consumer oriented market. Before it was like, I have this product, this is very good. Nowadays, you need this product, please wait for 2 days, I'll just make it and I'll bring it and I'll sell it to you. That's all. Point number D, necessity for change. After 1991, the market forces have become turbulent. As a result, business enterprise has to continuously modify their operations. Question number 18. Budgetary control is a technique of controlling that involves preparing plans in the form of budget. For 5 marks. Budgetary control is a technique of controlling that involves preparing plans in the form of budget. Simple thing. Take, this is a glass, this is a bucket. Just try to understand. This is a bucket. I can only fill the water till here. If I fill more, it will overflow. Alright. My requirement is this much. If I'll go down below, this is only called budget. The French word which is derived from the bucket. Alright. So budget means not to flow over, not to below. Whatever we have, with that resources, what we can do, that is only called budget. And here budgetary control is a technique. It is a technique of controlling. Here controlling means not to stop. Do in a precise manner. That involves preparing plans in the form of budget. 3 advantages of budgetary control are: it defines goals, plans and policies of enterprise. I have budget to survive with this glass of water the whole day. Point number B, budgetary control secures better coordination among various departments. Everybody needs this kind of coordination and correlation. So there needs a cooperation in between them. So this is only called coordination. In case the performance is below expectation, budgetary control helps the management in finding out the responsibility. If it is below the expectation, but after taking suggestive measures, if the initiated product or project will survive, no need to touch. If it needs, then again you have to fulfill. If we have done more than the expectations, so we'll just keep aside by and utilize in our future course of action. That's all. Question number 19. Explain briefly any 5 factors to be considered at the time of determining working capital. For 5 marks. Answers. The factors to be considered at the time of determining working capital requirements are: point number A, nature of business. The type of business company involved in is the first factor which helps in deciding the requirements of fixed capital. Point number B, scale of operation. The company which are operating at large scale requires more fixed capital as they need more machinery and other assets, whereas small cap scale enterprise need less amount of fixed capital. Point number C, growth prospects. Companies which are expanding and have higher growth plan requires more fixed capital. As to expand, they need to expand their production capacity, and to expand production capacity, companies need more plant and machinery. Point number D, diversification. Companies which have plan to diversify their activities by including more range of products require more fixed capital. As to produce more products, they require more plant and machinery, which means more fixed capital. Point number E, level of collaboration. Joint venture. If companies are performing collaboration joint venture, then companies will need less fixed capital as they can share plant and machinery. Next question. Question number 20. If you have to choose between two situations of overcapitalization and undercapitalization, which one will you prefer and why? For 5 marks. Overcapitalization. Let's understand first. A company is said to be overcapitalized when the aggregate of the par value of its shares and debentures exceeds the true value of its fixed assets. In other words, overcapitalization takes place when the stock is watered or diluted. It is wrong to identify overcapitalization with excess of capital, for there is every possibility and an overcapitalized concern may be confronted with problem of liquidity. The current indicator of overcapitalization is the earning of the company. If the earnings are lower than the expected return, it is overcapitalized. Overcapitalization does not mean surplus of funds. It is quite possible that a company may have more funds and yet to have low earnings. Often funds may be inadequate and the earning may also be relatively low. In both the situation, there is overcapitalization. Overcapitalization may take place due to exorbitant promotion expenses, inflation, shortage of capital, inadequate provision of depreciation, high corporation tax, liberalized dividend policy, etc. Overcapitalization shows negative impact on the company owners, consumers and society. Now, undercapitalization. Undercapitalization is just the reverse of overcapitalization. A company is said to be undercapitalized when its actual capitalization is lower than its proper capitalization as warranted by its earnings capacity. This happens in case of well-established companies which have insufficient capital fund but large secret reserves in the form of considerable appreciation in the value of fixed assets not brought into books. In case of such companies, the dividend rate will be high and the market value of their shares will be higher than the value of shares of other similar companies. The state of undercapitalization of a company can easily be ascertained by comparing of a book value of equity shares of the company with their real value. In case real value is more than the book value, the company is said to be undercapitalized. Undercapitalization may take place due to underestimation of initial earnings, underestimation of funds, conservative dividend policy, windfall gains, etc. Undercapitalization has some evil consequences like creation of power competition, labor unrest, consumer dissatisfaction, possibility of manipulating share values, etc. Question number 21. Is planning necessary for effective management? Give reason in support of your answer. According to this question, importance of planning we have to write down. Alright. For 6 marks. Yes, planning is necessary for effective management. The reason is as follows. Planning provides direction. Planning focuses on end result. It moves and directs all the activities towards the achievement of goals. Planning reduces the risk of uncertainties. Uncertainties always do not come as a shock. Therefore, planning prepares the organization to face the uncertainties. Point number C. Planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activities. With clear indication in planning, some work will not be done by 2 people. Therefore, there would be a no duplication of task. Point number E. Planning facilitates decision making. Planner check the pros that is advantages and cons, disadvantages of all options, and then take a decision. Point number D, planning promotes innovative idea to make prediction as assumption regarding future. Highly innovative thinking is required. Point number F, planning establishes standard for controlling the base or yardstick, or the standard for comparing actual performance in controlling is given by planning. Question number 21, or explain rule and method as type of plan. Differentiate between two of any four bases. Two on any four bases. Here means rules and method. Method, it provides the way or manner in which a task is to be performed. They are standardized way to perform routine jobs and are considered standing plan. It may be a step of a procedure, example method of training, methods of recruitment, etc. Under rule, it is the specific statement that informs what is to be done and what not. There is no discussion allowed in rules. They must be strictly followed and one cannot make changes in them. Differentiate between rules and methods. Four bases, rules and methods. Meaning, under rule, a specific guideline of behavior. Method, one best way of doing work. Point number 2, purpose. Under rule, to maintain discipline and order. Under method, to maximize efficiency and economy. Point number 3, source. Under rule, result of managerial thinking and values. Under method, result of research and experimentation. Point number 4, penalty. Under rule, no tolerance limits, penalty is imposed of. Under method, tolerance limits let down for deviations. Question number 22. What is meant by functional structure of an organization? Explain two of its advantages and disadvantages. Answer is functional structure. Grouping together the entire work into major functional departments and entrusting these departments to functional specialists is known as functional structure of organization. The chart, functional structure, top president, departments are there: R&D, research and development managers, finance manager, marketing manager, manufacturing manager. Under it, research and development manager, design, development, testing, finance, accounting, purchasing, marketing manager, sales, customer service, manufacturing manager, line supervisors, production teams, distribution. Advantages of functional structure. Point number A, it is logical reflection of function. It differentiates functions in such a manner that each function is organized on a logical pattern for its performance. Point number B, it maintains powers and prestige of major function. Major function like production, marketing, finance, etc. are assigned to departmental health to drive major activities concerning these functions. Disadvantages of functional structure. Point number A, responsibility for profit is at top only. Responsibility for profit lies with the president or CEO, while each functional head looks after his assigned areas of activity. This makes it difficult to integrate diverse functions towards achievement of common objectives. Point number B, slow adaptation to change in environment. Due to lack of interfunctional interaction, personnel tend to become less responsible to any change. Or question is, explain briefly the process of organizing. Answer, it means dividing and subdividing the entire function of the enterprise into different units and assigning every function to the right and most suited person. From the above description, the following steps emerge in the process of organizing. Point number A, identification and division of work. The first step in the process of organizing involves identifying and dividing the work that has to be done in accordance with previously determined plans. The work is divided into manageable activities so that duplication can be avoided and the burden of work can be shared among the employees. Point number B, departmentalization. Once work has been divided into small and manageable activities, then those activities which are similar in nature are grouped together. Such set facilitate specialization. This grouping process is called departmentalization. Point number C, assignment of duties. It is necessary to define the work of different job position and accordingly allocate work to various employees. Once departments have been formed, each of them is placed under the charge of an individual. Jobs are then allocated to the members of each department in accordance to their skills and competencies. It is essential for effective performance that a proper match is made between the nature of a job and the ability of individual. The work must be assigned to those who are best fitted to perform it well. Point number D, establishing reporting relationship. Merely allocating work is not enough. Each individual should also know who he has to take orders from and to whom he is accountable. The establishment of such clear relationship helps to create hierarchical structure and helps in coordination amongst various departments. Question number 23 for 6 marks. Staffing is the process through which competent employees are selected properly. Now the question 23, sorry I haven't read. Explain the importance of staffing as a function of management for 6 marks. Staffing is the process through which competent employees are selected properly, trained efficiently, effectively developed and suitably rewarded, harmoniously integrated towards achieving the objectives of the business. In any organization, there is a need for people to perform work. The staffing function of management fulfills this requirement and finds the right people for the right job. The ability of an organization to achieve its goals depends upon the quality of its human resource. Proper staffing ensures the following benefits to the organization. Point number A, helps in discovering and obtaining competent personnel for various jobs. Point number B, makes for higher performance by putting right person on the right job. Point number C, ensures the continuous survival and growth of the enterprise through the succession planning for managers. Point number D, helps to ensure optimum utilization of the human resource by avoiding over managing. It prevents underutilization of personnel and high labor costs. At the same time, it avoids disruption of work by indicating in advance the shortage of personnel. Point number E, improves job satisfaction and morale of employees through objective assessment and fair reward for their contribution. Staffing function must be performed efficiently by all organizations. If right kind of employee is not available, it will lead to wastage of materials, time, effort and energy, resulting in lower productivity and poor quality of products. The enterprise will not be able to sell its products profitably. It is therefore essential that right kind of people must be available in right number at the right time. They should be given adequate training so that wastage could be minimized. They should also be induced to show higher productivity and quality by offering them proper incentives. Or you are the personal manager of Cement Limited. You want to appoint staff for your company. Explain selection procedure. You should for this. This is the procedure for selection of employees under staffing chapter number 6. Personal manager. Human resource manager of the cement company or concerned needs staff for the company work. The selection procedure followed by personal manager are as follows. See the diagram. This will do. Selection of employees. Under it, meaning selection is the process of choosing from among the candidates from within the organization or from outside the most suitable. Now I have made this hierarchical from below to top. Number 1, preliminary screening. 2, sending application. 3, trade test. 4, written test. 5, psychological test. 6, interview. 7, physical test. 8, on the job test. 9 till 8, those who have passed. Then reference, orientation, final selection. These 4 from 9 to 12 are the management work, but below is the human resource work. Now point number 9 is reference, orientation is 10, 11 is final selection, and 12 intimation to salary department. And you can see the arrow which I have made nearby to this diagram to make you understand, from below to top and top to the intimation to salary department. That is, your job is fixed. Question number 24, differentiate between marketing and selling for 6 marks. Difference between marketing and selling are, before starting this, I'll let you know, the board always used to repeat these questions, like difference between personal selling and advertising, difference between marketing and selling, difference between direct selling and indirect selling. So be careful with this type of questions. These are very easy. If you know the concept, you can write down your own answer too. Under this basis, marketing and selling, point number 1, meaning. Under marketing, marketing means all customers wants satisfying efforts concerning with planning, pricing, promotion, product and services. Under selling, selling is the transfer of the ownership and possession of goods to the purchaser. Point number 2, importance. Marketing accords importance to the satisfaction of consumer wants effectively. Under selling, selling emphasizes the product. Point number 3, objective. Under marketing, it refers to integrated approach towards achieving long-term objectives. Under selling, it refers to piecemeal approach to achieve short-term goals. Point number 4, approach towards profit. Under marketing, profit is sought by ensuring consumer satisfaction. Under selling, profit is sought by ensuring higher sales volume. Point number 5, comprehensiveness. Under marketing, marketing is a comprehensive term which includes selling, advertising and also the distribution of goods. Under selling, selling is the part of marketing and thus not a comprehensive term. Simple. Selling comes under marketing, but marketing creates an environment. Question number 24, or what is product mix? Describe briefly the salient features of the product to be considered under product mix. Answer is, product mix, also known as product assortment or product portfolio, refers to the complete set of product mix or services offered by a firm. A product mix consists of product lines which are associated items that consumers tend to use together or think of as similar product or services. Salient features of products to be considered under product mix are: point number 1, a product is tangible. It is made up of certain physical attributes such as shape, size, etc. It can be seen, touched and felt. Point number 2, in addition to physical features, a product has certain attributes which help customers to distinguish it from other products. Package, brand name, warranty, etc. are such associated activities. Point number 3, a product has some value which can be measured in terms of money. Point number 4, the product is meant to satisfy some needs and wants of human beings. Question number 25, explain any 6 duties of consumer to safeguard his or her interests. Chapter 12 or 13, consumer rights. So under this, rights and duties of a consumer, the 6 duties or rights of a consumers are: right of a consumer. Consumer Protection Act 1986 has provided 6 rights to the consumers, which are as follows. Right to safety, right to inform. Right to safety. Consumer has the right to be protected against products and services which are hazardous to health and life. Should use ISI mark electronic device. This is the example inside the bracket. Point number 2, right to be informed. Consumer has right to have complete information about the product before buying it. You can see the image of Coca-Cola, the can, and here manufacturing date, price, quantity, expiry date. Next point, right to choose. Consumer has a right to choose any product out of the available products as per his own decision making. Ma'am, you can buy this one, we can say, but the choice is only customer's choice. That's why we used to call consumer is the king of the market. We cannot make the consumer puzzle. They have their own rights, what they want to take, what they do not want to take. Point number 4, right to be heard. Consumer has the right to file a complaint to be heard in case of dissatisfaction with goods or services, use of grievance cell. Right to be heard here means to file a complaint if there will be any mistake or wrong. Point number 5, right to seek redressal. If there will be any kind of seek redressal, that means the consumer can file a complaint and get the compensation for it. Right, consumer has the right to get relief in case of the product or service falls short of his expectation or is dangerous. He may provide it with replacement, removal of defect or compensation for any loss. Various redressal forums are set up by the government at national level and state level. Point number 6, right to consumer education. Consumer has the right to acquire knowledge and to be well informed. Throughout life, he should be made aware of his rights and reliefs available to him in case of the product or service falls short of his expectations. The Government of India has included consumers' education in the school's curriculum and is making use of media to make consumer aware of their rights. Question number 25, or what is the 3-tier consumer grievances machinery under the Consumer Protection Act 1986? Redressal agencies under Consumer Protection Act 1986 are: for the redressal of consumer grievances, the Act provides 3-tier machinery: District Forum, State Commission and National Commission. In all agencies, direct appeal can be done. Up to 20 lakhs, District Forum. Up to 20 lakhs to 1 crore, State Commission. 1 crore, more than 1 crore, National Commission. Now District Forum. District Forum are set up in each district by the state concerned. The important features are: point number A, it consists of a president and 2 members, one of whom should be a woman duly appointed by state government. Point number B, it can receive consumer complaint of not more than 20 lakhs value. Point number C, on receiving the complaint, the District Forum shall refer the complaint to the opposite party concerned and send the sample of goods for testing in a laboratory. Point number D, the District Forum, after being satisfied that goods are defective or there is some unfair trade practice, can issue an order to opposite party directing him to either replace or return the price or pay compensation. In case the aggrieved party is not satisfied with the order of District Forum, he can appeal before State Forum within 30 days of passing an order. State Commission. It is set up in each state by the government concerned. The salient features are: point number A, each commission consists of a president and it at least 2 members appointed by state government. Point number B, complaint of least of at least rupees 20 lakh but not more than 1 crore can be filed with State Commission. Point number C. On receiving the complaint, the State Commission can also refer the complaint to opposite party and send the goods for testing in laboratory. Point number D. The State Commission, after being satisfied, can order to opposite party to either replace or repay or pay compensation in case the aggrieved party is not satisfied. They can appeal before National Commission within 30 days of passing an order. Point number 3. National Commission. It is set up by central government. The provisions of Act are. Point number A. It consists of a president and at least 4 members appointed by central government. Point number B. All complaints are pertaining to goods and services of value more than rupees 1 crore can be filed with National Commission. Point number C. On receiving the complaint, the National Commission can also refer to the opposite party and send the goods for testing. Point number D. The National Commission has the power to issue orders for replacement or removal and to pay the compensation for loss. So till here for 2019 paper. By solving this kind of papers, one can acquaint the knowledge to how to do in their examination, how to write it. Questions are similar, not the exact, but it used to be means shuffling is there, shuffling of question is there. Same question but in different manner the examiner can ask you. So by learning this much also, it will help you to obtain your creativity and to write a best answer and to attempt technical questions like practical questions and all. This will help you very much in your examination. And my YouTube channel name is Commerceman Navneet. Please do share, subscribe and forward as much as you can and help other commerce students of class 12 which they are going to appear in 2021 for their final examination. Thank you.